Hi, Bill.
Surprise.
I'm not just waving. I'm trying to take the glare out of my glasses, and I don't know where it's coming from.
It looks like it's coming from your monitor.
It might be. It might be. Gee whiz. See what I can do about that. I don't think that's happened before. Maybe they fit better now than they used to. There.
Oh.
I can't see anything now, but
Well, now they're right smack dab in the middle.
yeah. Maybe I'll do it without video. Let's see.
I gotta adjust my stuff too. That's not bad there when you tilt your head back a bit. But then you can't see. That's the perils of growing old.
Is that what that is? I may have disconnected something here. Let's see. Oh, there. Well, brought you back.
Now I see my reflections.
How you been?
Not bad, not bad. And my wife and I were saying, "Oh, it feels so cold today," and it's dropped down into the 70s.
Yeah. That was quite a heat wave we had.
Yeah, really. Are you still fooling around?
I'm fooling around, yeah. With what? Actually, I've been disengaging from some activities that I've been involved in a long time. I think I told you the last Zoom, maybe the one before that. I have served on the Parchment Library Board since 1975, 76, something like that. I think it was 34 years.
Gosh.
And I knew I had been president of the board for a long time, but I didn't realize I think it was 24 years.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I didn't have any competition for it, but it was a very rewarding experience. And the library director really liked me. And we got along very well. I was on the board back when we hired her in. We stole her from Plainwell, and it was a good transaction. I have to walk out to the kitchen here. I'll be right back.
And there's Dick Galant.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I goofed. I've been waiting all day, and then in the last 10 minutes, I couldn't find it. I don't know what happened. I had cleaned stuff up on my computer. Thank you, though.
And in comes Norb. Almost. I don't
Your
know if you,
picture is really clear, Bill.
oh, well, I have one of those lights, those halo lights off to the my left-hand side.
Oh, okay. Hi, Paul.
Hi,
Whoops.
Dick. How you doing?
Good. You look pretty good there.
I do.
Not a humble bone in that man's body.
No, I just take it where I can.
No, you
I
do look
was-
good. I say that because of, what's happened a little earlier. You do look very good.
I'm doing a lot better.
Yeah.
A little lighter. I've lost about 8 pounds since before the surgery. Most
Wow.
of that was after, which was good to go. And my blood pressure's better.
Good.
I'm getting a little more strength, but the my I have trouble saying the word that I want to say. I had somebody's name. I know exactly what it is, and just can't put it together. I say, well, no, who is this? Oh, that's the name. And terminology, but it's nothing. I don't think it's serious. Well, I was telling Bill that Bill Yagerlener, I served on the Parchment Library Board for over 30 years.
Wow.
And I went off the board at the end of last year. And I've been honored. They named a room after me.
Really? Wow.
It's the community room. And today Sue was over at the library, and the library director gave her this mug to
All
give
right.
me. And on the back, if you can read it, get it right here. It says I can't read it. No, it's backwards.
A truly great library contains something in it to offend everyone. Joe Godwin. I don't know who that is.
I don't know
Or
who that
Goodwin.
is,
Huh?
but and Teresa told Sue that was one of the first things that I said to her. And I said to Sue, yeah, I remember telling her that.
Wow.
And then as I was getting stuff set here, I was paging through all of the photos of all of the graduates of St. Joe's and recognizing people that I hadn't seen there before. And people that that I had dealt with in Kalamazoo and around the area here, who were, I wouldn't say that they formed me, I wouldn't say they helped form me, but they reinforced what everybody has done to get me to where I'm at. And I thought back, the recollection I had of saying that to her was at least 4 years or at least 10 years after we hired her. So, and I may have said that during the interview. I don't know.
Zoom text enable.
Hey, Norm.
Is not allowing participants to unmute themselves. The host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves.
Can Norb, can you hear us? And we can see you.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
I just got a message here that you don't allow me to unmute myself.
Well, somehow you did.
Yeah, because you can hear me, right? Okay, good.
And
Yeah.
we can see you. You
Yeah,
broke
good.
all the rules.
The host is not allowing participants to unmute themselves.
Well, we can hear that message. I wonder if it's Bill Gebhard.
Not me. I wouldn't do something like that.
Who is?
Space.
Maybe.
Hi, Albert.
Hi there.
Okay, there's Bill Gebhard.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. He's always got to be relaxing in a chair. That's right.
Well, what do you want me to do? Stand and salute?
No, I thought you'd be down praying or something. I don't know.
Communing with nature.
Where are you? In Battle Creek?
Yeah.
Okay, good. It's a pretty nice scene behind you there.
It's my backyard.
Wow.
Maybe that's where we should have our picnic.
Come on over. Plenty of room.
All right.
What's the lake back there? I'm trying to throw something out for it.
It's just a small lake in Battle Creek called, it's near Gogoak, which is the big lake. But,
Okay.
this is Emerald. It's
All right.
just a
No,
private
I
little
don't.
lake.
Yeah, I don't recall that name, but the I'm familiar with a little bit of Battle Creek, but it's kind of secondary.
Actually,
Mile up the expressway.
this is just an observation, but having something at Bill's place in Battle Creek, if you think about it, based on geographically where we're all located, is not a bad idea.
That's what I was thinking too. That's pretty central.
Say again?
That's pretty centrally located for a lot of
Yeah,
people.
that's my point. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not pushing one way or the other, but it's just an observation.
right. I agree.
I've
It's
got plenty of room.
Actually, it probably is not a good idea because the imposition on, I forgot his name already, the person that's on the lake. That'd be an imposition there.
Not at all. Be glad
Really?
to have you all here. Be glad.
Okay, what's your name?
Bill Gebhard.
Oh, okay.
You have to
Once you
remember
meet him,
that
you never forget
Norb
him.
is visually challenged.
Yes.
And hearing challenge too.
Actually, Bill is notorious by now, right, Bill?
Which
Bill?
one are you speaking to?
I guess that applies to both, but I was speaking of Gebhard.
That lake background reminded me of a little get together we had at Neil Mullally's family home in Spring Lake.
Wow.
Do you guys remember that?
No, I wasn't.
I don't know
invited.
how many of you made it, maybe.
Yeah,
But
I wasn't there.
We always seem to have be the curse of Neil. Whatever we were doing together, somehow it always ended up unfavorable for him. But by way of example, and this goes quite a ways back to 1963, somehow we met in the evening over at the seminary. And I remember that because Neil drove me and maybe a couple other guys from Muskegon over there, and we met with Father Rose and a lot of the guys from our at that time would have been the class of high school 1964. We met over there. Long story short, on the way back, a car went right through a traffic light and smacked, and he smacked into it in the family car.
Oh,
So I still have pictures of that that I got out quick, made a snapshot of it. And the reason I think of the lake is that he invited some folks, some of us, over to meet at the nice family lake in, I want to say, Mona. That wasn't Mona Lake, Spring Lake. I'm sorry. And here we were, standing out at the end of the dock, just kind of watching this. You know, his parents had a boat that we were kind of looking at. And oh boy, that was really kind of neat. So we all got further out and the dock collapsed. And we ended up somehow breaking the windshield on the boat. I think maybe so. Yes, the memories of.
Hey, that reminds me, I have a question for you young guys. Did the sixth year class have a day off near graduation, near the end of the year?
they used to, but we didn't have it. We didn't have anybody to go.
That's what I'm asking.
remember
you guys
that.
actually did that. See, when we had ours at John Mullally's folks. So the same place you're talking about.
Right. Well, they must have replaced the.
And the reason
great.
they restrict, it used to be much more open than that. The year before, or a couple years before, Kaiser, I think it was
Yes,
drowned.
Kaiser. Right.
And
Yeah.
so they really cut back on what we could do on that day off.
I kind of remember our group getting together, I think it was in the Grand Rapids area, and I don't remember, it must have been Tom Zibakowski. Somebody had a pool in the backyard that I remember it was so freezing cold and nobody went into the pool.
Yeah, Zibby had the pool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I recall that get together. I've been trying to figure out when that happened and what the occasion was, but that could be.
You know, one time I used to travel on I-96 between Grand Rapids and Ann Arbor. And just as you get into Lansing, there's a what do you call it? A stop, a car
Rest area?
truck stop. Yeah, thanks. That's what you really call them, right? Rest area. Anyways, this happened a few years back, and I ran into Tom Zibakowski there. That's the last time I've ever seen him.
Oh.
I remember he had a buddy named Rudy Zant, and they were Z. They were Zibakowski and Zant and Zibakowski. So when they had the first year, they had the what do you call it? The bunk beds or whatever,
Mhm.
So we had grand silence, and Monsignor Shaw or somebody caught him talking to each other, and they were saying, "Oh, we were just talking in our sleep." I remember they got caught on that. So
Mhm. I'm going to leave at 7:30, but I want to share something with you that regarding ministry. Remember when we had this conversation with the author about seminary?
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think it came up at that gathering that there was no ministry opportunities for us in the minor seminary. And I forgot about it, but I was in ministry during the summer after my 5th year and my 6th year. I was working with migrants in Lake Leelanau in 1960, and in 61 on Old Mission Peninsula.
wow.
I was there, but I don't. The strange thing is, I don't remember anything about the 2nd year on Old Mission, and the one in Lake Leelanau. I remember preparing 3 little boys for First Communion. Yeah, so there was some ministry. I don't know how many other people got involved, but
I do remember that there were some opportunities. Some people help with the migrants.
Mhm.
But think about it another way. I know Bill Gebhard has mentioned this in there's maybe a couple others that joined the Peace Corps after they had left, and that I think the inclination was there. And but you're right, the opportunities, that always made it kind of strange that you didn't have those opportunities.
Right.
Hey, before you take off, Norb,
Yeah.
I just wanted to update you on an email that I got from Chuck Howley. I think he was in your class, wasn't he?
No,
A year ahead.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, okay. Anyway, he sent me an email that said that he was cleaning out, the usual basement stuff, and found back issues of the recorder that much of the ones fall into your frame. He's got 1954, September, October 54, September, October 56, January, February 58, May, June of 59. That would have been the graduating class of 59. September, October 59, November, December of 59, May to June of 60. That would have been another graduating class.
That would have been his class.
Right. November, December of 1960, and Christmas of 60, I believe, and Christmas of 62. He's getting into those last three, 60 to 62, and I can't figure out when this other one would be. There's one that's just labeled June. Those fall into the times that our group was there. So it'd be interesting to see. I suggested that he send those on to me so that I could make some good PDF copies of the actual newsletter, and then, like we've done in the past, put them up on the website. So that's kind of interesting that, every now and then those things will resurface. And I always thought that those things were important, at least for the memory keepers. We sound like a Native American tribe here. They tell about really what life was like in the seminary, the day-to-day routines and what people were up to, and bring back some of the memories of the November or the December annual plays and things like that. So we're getting there. And I know that you had said early on, a long time ago, that all of that stuff was there at the archives. However, Jim Blanchard has been in touch with Angela Yodo, I think, or Yondo there, and she said they're here, but a lot of the stuff that Father Denny collected is still sitting there in boxes. And so it takes somebody to go over there and start going through those boxes to see what we can find. And he couldn't join us tonight, but he said he's going to try and set up a meeting with Angela to start going there. In particular, he was looking for the weekly newspaper of the diocese. The archives of that.
Western Michigan Catholic.
Pardon?
Western Michigan Catholic.
Oh, okay. Now the reason for that goes back to Dick's comment the last time out about seeing a picture of nuns waving at the JFK cars that went past the seminary in the 1960 election campaign. And we went through, we thought, oh, well, it must be the Grand Rapids Press. And I found somebody at the Michigan Library who actually went through a lot of it, was able to access the online archives and couldn't find that picture. And then it occurred to me, we didn't have access to the daily newspapers at those times. And that's when I kind of reinforced my thinking that maybe, Dick, you saw it in the West Michigan Catholic. Is that?
No,
That
that's
sounds-
correct. I can tell you two stories about that. The Western Michigan Catholic, my dad had a twin brother, and my cousin, indirectly, his name is Carl, worked for the guy that owned the Western Michigan Catholic, and it eventually went out of publication. However, he actually lives in Austin, Texas now, but he has part of the company is that he makes the collection envelopes for the different parishes. Like you get those little boxes of that. So now the other thing is, and it's driving me nuts. About a year or so ago, my brother sent me the pictures of the nuns, and it's what it is that Kennedy went on it was on Burton Street, and he was in a convertible, and the nuns were out right by the street waving to John Kennedy. It happened that this was during the time that we were on retreat. So that's why the nuns got were able to, we didn't. I always thought it was weird that the potential president of the United States went by and we're on retreat. It just seemed a little, like at least we could all say hello. But anyways,
I don't think
that
they
was
told
the
us
year.
about it.
What we found out later, but my brother, I cannot, I've looked and looked for those pictures, Bill, and I cannot find them. But that was the year that the Pirates beat the Yankees in the World Series. Bill Mazeroski hit a home run. And I remember because we would be in silence from Tuesday until Saturday morning at the retreat as the format of it. And so it must have been it usually was around the second week of October. And it was during the, what do you call it? That's when it would have occurred with Kennedy. But I did see that. In fact, I can't remember if there were two different pictures or one, and it's just driving me nuts. I've gone through stuff that have had on that, and I can't find. I don't know where I put the pictures. I'll keep looking though.
Yeah, we've narrowed it down to October 14th. That falls. I did an online search, and October 14th, Kennedy made a big campaign.
That's right. He made a speech. Yep, I looked that up. You're correct.
Yeah, he went all over Michigan. He did his famous Peace Corps speech in Ann Arbor at that time.
That's right. Yeah.
Kicked off the day there. They talked. What I saw, it was early in the morning when he was at the, what was it called, the Quadrangle.
No, he did it actually in front of the Michigan Union. It's close to the Quadrangle.
Right.
And they have a little spot there where he stood. There's a little medallion. I think that he was in Grand Rapids. Based on the picture and everything, it's during the day, like in the afternoon. He probably flew. He could have flown from Detroit to Grand Rapids, and then the seminary was fairly close to the what do you call it? The airport.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm disappointed that I can't find it. But I do remember kind of the horns, even though we were silent, because we could kind of wander around just to, pardon the expression, bide our time as we were praying. But
in solemn silence.
That's right. But anyways, I'm sorry I can't. I'll keep looking.
I don't remember that at all. I was there.
I was in my second year, I believe.
Correct.
That was in my fifth year.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
my-
we would have been,
Oh, you would have been a 6th year,
Yeah,
Norm,
sixth year, that's right.
because
yeah.
you were a 5th year. I remember Chuck Howley. He was he was a really good skater. Was he from Saginaw or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, pretty close to Saginaw.
he was a very good athlete, I know, and he was like I think he was the sacristan of his class.
Hmm.
But sorry about that.
I want to go back to the recorders that you were talking about. When I was researching for my book, Father Den brought me those recorders, just like she said, in boxes. And I went through them. They were mostly in order, but they weren't really organized like you could go find one where you wanted to. But so that would be a great volunteer job for somebody to go over there and get those organized for Angela.
Right.
Yeah,
I would
I was
suggest
certain.
when you're done with them, Bill, to send.
Then you can go to Spring Lake. You can go to Spring Lake afterwards.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, I have sort of been thinking in the last couple of days that I would love to drive over to Grand Rapids and spend a day at the archives and meet up with Jim Blanchard, who is like, he knows where things are, or at least he's more expertise in than I am, and just pour through some of these boxes. The thing that occurred to me too is the West Michigan Catholic probably had some articles in there related to the seminary. I'm just thinking,
sure.
you know,
they did.
appointments to the
Sure.
It came out
staff
every
and-
week. Yeah.
Right. So it would be really cool to spend a little time over there and just devote it to poking around in the boxes over there. I thought that I forgot what her name is. She's the archivist for the Dominicans. And
Oh.
I went onto their website, and unfortunately, they're doing some renovations over at the Mother House right now. So they have taken all of their archives down to a storage facility that's run by in the city of Grand Rapids in their archives. So I thought, well, maybe there might have been that picture that showed up there, but I think our best bet is the West Michigan Catholic. What else would we have had a chance to read over there?
I don't think the Western Michigan Catholic would have it, to be honest with you. I think, as I recall seeing the pictures, they were from the Grand Rapids Press somehow. Maybe I'm wrong, but
well, they didn't save them, or they're not online.
what the Western Michigan Catholic?
No, the
the
Grand
pictures?
Rapids Press.
Yeah, you can try to get the archives, I think, but that doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
And I think you have to be a subscriber, and I was kind of confused, and I didn't get into all that. And
No, actually, all you have to do is be a resident of a community whose library is affiliated with the Library of Michigan. So I was able to get over there and actually look at all of the archives. And I went through like October 14th through the 17th, just looking at every single page. I figured after the 17th, they probably wouldn't have, it wouldn't have been a big newsworthy item.
it should have been probably a Wednesday or a Thursday, I would think.
Right.
Yeah,
he was
October.
the 14th was on a Friday, I believe.
It was. Okay.
So we went through the 14th. I probably on the hope that it was an afternoon newspaper that they might have. I don't know. These days they get stuff online real quickly. But then we went to the 15th, which is a Saturday, a real thin day for newspapers. And Sunday, they didn't have a whole lot of local news and Sundays edition. So, we poked around in there and just couldn't find that picture. There were several other Grand Rapids and Michigan photos of his presence in the state of Michigan at that time. But getting back to where we could have seen that, I was thinking we certainly had access to the West Michigan Catholic. That's one of the few papers that was in our library.
Right.
I can't remember for the life of me when we started being able to read news of what was really going on in the world. I remember we had headlines or the front page of the paper posted on the bulletin board down in what we called the recreation room down there, right outside the refectory. And that was about the extent of our ability to look at newspapers about the real world.
They're all the sports section. That was we can only look at the sports section.
Right.
I remember that. I'd always wait for it, and whoever was in charge of the sports, like Pete Garthy or somebody like that, would bring it in.
Yeah.
Just coming back, Bill, who's was the guy a year ahead of Norm that you were talking to that had this kicked off the whole conversation here? What was his name?
Chuck Howley.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Howley.
Right.
Hello?
Right.
Paul,
How you doing?
Yeah.
got
Just
it?
a second. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to turn you off then. Sorry, I'm leaving. I'll be right back, Jeff.
All right. Well, I'm glad we got to chat with you a little bit, Norb. Are you signing off now? Is that
Yeah,
what
I'm
you're
leaving. I thought I was on mute.
well, somehow you
I'm back.
unmuted
No, you
yourself.
weren't.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Okay.
We remember
Bye.
everything you said.
It's in the
Right.
recorder.
It's all recorded, right?
Yeah,
So
I'm still on.
oh, you're still
Yes, you
there.
are.
I've locked you on so you can't do anything.
Now I'm gone.
No, you're not.
No, you're
Not-
not.
Zoom meeting, meeting information, add, view, mute, audio settings, mute, currently unmuted, all
Oh.
plus A.
Well, you're still there. We can see and hear you.
No, can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We hear your monitor talking to you.
You still hear me? I thought I clicked on mute. You can't hear me, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how I can't get out of
End
here.
meeting or leave meeting.
There, you're
You're gone.
gone. And Albert, got to tell you,
Yeah.
I was just going to post I get these political cartoons from all over the place. I kind of follow them. And there was one called Preparing for a Zoom Meeting. And it was the cat that was taped to the wall. That was kind of funny. I think Mike Murphy has a dog or something that sometimes comes on into the room. So, here comes Frank. Okay. Now
It's
we
on
can start.
Chicago time. That's why he just came on now.
Yeah. I was gone for a little while. We lost power here and I had to,
Oh, did you?
yeah. I didn't quit on you like Norm.
Hey, can I ask a question? I'm just kind of curious, and it was kind of scary to me, but Bill Gebhard might know about this too, and Paul, but they had some kind of a warning in Kalamazoo and areas there down to St. Joe and and I think even to New Buffalo about the air quality.
Oh, yeah.
What the heck was that about?
I think it was because of those wildfires up in Canada and myself, but someone else must know better than I.
I'm inclined to think.
You can't talk. It just gets in your lungs. You just can't talk.
I think I don't recall, but I think it related to not ozone, but some gases that were suppressed lower in the atmosphere that would aggravate people who had breathing issues of one sort or another. I don't think we've seen any smoke from that stuff. My daughter has a classmate, I guess, or at least a good friend who is a pediatrician in Grayling. And she heard from her that, she got some reports about what was going on, that she had gone into the hospital because she delivered a baby yesterday. So, but everything was good with her, as from what we heard. Hi, Frank.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Sorry I'm late.
No, you're on Chicago time.
Right. I am on Chicago time. You're right.
Still early. Still early there.
Can I'd like to volunteer something, an idea, or just something, see how you react to it. It comes from an article I read recently, and it was about Alzheimer's. But I think we can kind of relate to that somewhat.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, but basically what it said is that people that know, kind of communicate, and we're kind of on the periphery on this, more than one language have a lower chance of getting Alzheimer's than a person that has a single language. So I was thinking about that, the fact that I was exposed to over 13 years of language study, and most of the people here have had probably around 10 years or so of language study of 3 or 4 language, including English. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know what your experience is health-wise. I hope it is a good omen, but I found that kind of revealing.
Well, that means some of us don't have any excuse for Alzheimer's then, huh?
Yeah, right. That's right. So you always have to remember to pay the taxes, I guess. I don't know. So there was another, I don't know if you had any comment, but there was another thing that came up. This is now changing the subject. And this was in the New York Times within the last week or so, not this past Sunday. The title is Universities Meet Monasteries. And it's about a professor at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. You remember I talked to you about the book, The Wandering Mind. This is it's kind of like it sounds like an experimental class of really trying to focus on really the meaning of education at the university. And this professor teaches the class, and part of it is it's a kind of, I would say, generally a humanities or so class that really emphasizes meditation and silence, with the idea of understanding the inner self and what the value of basically the humanities are. And the way he described it is exactly how we lived for 4 to 6 years or so, as far as a way of being introspective, and found that interesting that they're going back to kind of the basics, if you will.
Mhm.
But it's all through the monastic traditions.
Dick, I got some news for you.
Uh-oh.
You and Frank Unger have risen from the dead. Turns out that there actually was a photo of you three hanging in the seminary.
Really?
Right. Now I'll show you. It was Dick Blanchard or Jim Blanchard who found this photo.
Wow.
Background is, a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, he went over there and to the archives and started going through the framed photos that they had, and would take whatever photos he could, and I would add them to the website along with any photos of the group shots that we had amassed over time. Now, I assumed that, I noticed in passing that he had a picture of the class of 66. He had taken a picture of that. But I thought, well, I have our official nicely done up photo. And so I didn't even bother paying careful attention to the one that he took of the framed picture. Now, this is the first time I've ever really done this. I'm going to try and share the screen and show the photo that shows both the 1966 and 65 class in it. So hang on for just a second. Share screen. Over to here. Share. There we are. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if you take a look,
Oh, yeah.
the
Bottom.
class of 66, we're familiar with these guys right down through here. But then in small print, right down here, it says class of 1965. And there are the three of you. Larry Christensen,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
you, Dick Galant, and Frank Unger.
Wow.
So you had photos taken, but they when they came out with our picture and put it in a frame, they tacked you three guys on to the bottom in tiny, teensy weensy little print. You can see.
Right.
I thought that was a hoot.
Boy,
That was-
I'm not very observant because I studied this photo about 6:45 this afternoon, and I scanned across those names and I recorded what they were, but I didn't assign any significance to them. Hope you don't feel bad about that.
No.
Well, this was like never before seen, because none of us went back to the seminary after we left to actually look at the framed photo that's on the wall.
Oh, I don't feel so bad now.
So this is the one that was framed and on the wall. The ones that I had, and maybe a lot of you guys had, was the one that was just the class of 66.
Mhm.
So I thought, well, there you finally are. And it kind of looks like Dick, that you got a white mustache.
Oh,
Can you
yeah.
see-
I can kind of see it. Yeah. Yeah. There's like a flaw there, but yeah.
Yeah, there's probably now Dick kind of cleaned up these pictures because they were behind glass, and so there were some
I see.
reflections that he had to kind of figure out how to get rid of. That's why in the surrounding areas. Some parts are the deep sepia and others are a
Mhm.
light version. So there you have it.
Is
We
there
can
any
put that
way
baby
to,
We can put that baby to rest now.
And the
oh,
reason,
wait a minute. Is there any way to, send that to me as a PDF or what?
Yeah, I can easily send it to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I could get Photoshop, I could do this more easy. It seems like when you start it's like if you look at the pictures, you get smaller as you get to the bottom.
Yeah, there's a that's probably a slight keystoning because he wasn't like
Well, I
90
think what happened is that they needed room in that bottom, kind of with starting at the middle, Joe Radic and
Radic.
Paul, and that you go down, those pictures are smaller. So what they did is they
Yeah.
reduced that size in order to fill the picture out, and get that in. It's kind of like a cheater, if you will.
Right,
Well, if you look real closely, it looks like Dick yourself, you're about a quarter smaller than the other two guys.
Yeah.
He always
head
was
is-
a short
Your
guy.
head is
I wasn't
smaller.
very big. I mean, I think it shows
Your
the
head is a
true
lot
size in
smaller.
a way. But if you look at the top,
Yeah,
if you look at Jim Hammond and
yeah,
Mark
they're
Margeski, and Jerry Stein. I mean, those pictures. In fact, they must have done some other things because they're kind of more narrow up
Yeah.
there. They fooled around with it a little bit in order to get everybody in.
I'm inclined to think that this picture, when this picture was taken, the camera was angled,
right.
probably angled down, but maybe it was angled up.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at here is the effect of stretching and
Yep.
compressing the picture to make it square.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
weren't these our photos from that year? Weren't these photos taken of us sometime in the middle of the year?
Yes,
Right.
right.
And I remember how we rebelled and decided that we were going to pick out the camera studio or the photo studio on our own rather than follow the one that had been taking those pictures for years. So I forget what street it was on. It was a little hike along Burton over to the west somewhere. It was a major.
It was right on Burton. It was Boltman Studios.
Yeah. Right.
Right on
So
the same
you're
side-
saying
same
that
side of
your
the street as-
pictures, we had a
Same-
different photographer than you did.
Oh, that could be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we.
Well, look at the backgrounds.
Yep.
All three are different.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm
Mhm.
talking about we three, and then yours are almost all have kind of a dark,
Yep.
dark to light, and then
Mhm.
And I often wondered why Jim Hannock wasn't in this. And then he was the one who explained to me that he left in December of that year, of that 6th year. He actually left the seminary.
So that would have been 65.
Yeah. And he attended Loyola in Chicago and then,
Okay.
and then got permission to return because he came when we had that meeting in Grand Rapids. There was a meeting to decide where we were going to go for our next level of school.
Yeah.
I wasn't that part of a little bit of the protest at the end of the school year that they delayed the selection of us to go to another seminary.
Oh, yeah. We had to go back to be told where we were
We
going.
had to go back to the seminary to be told, at least some of those of us in Grand Rapids anyway.
Yeah.
So Hannock was at that meeting, and it's because he was allowed to come back. He told me that Father Moran, Reverend Monsignor Moran, allowed him, or got permission to accept him back into the seminary.
Well, I went back through, as soon as I spotted this, I went back through the previous 30 years worth of photos to see how they dealt with doubled up classes in the past. and I did the same thing moving forward to after 1966. And there was like one class in the past where there were only like 3 or maybe 4 graduates, and they put those pictures on like this, but more prominently identifying the year. It would say St. Joseph Seminary, like a nice big bold 1966 at the bottom, and then below it would have said 1965, so there was more. You could see the distinction between the 2 classes. And then going forward into the 70s, where there were a couple of shots where they actually separated the junior college graduates from the high school graduates at the bottom, so that you could get a better sense of. Probably was at the time when they were trying to distinguish the preparatory seminary concept rather than the minor seminary.
Bill, didn't you leave around at the end of that school year? Bill Yagerlener, did you stay?
Yes, I left at the end of 66.
Okay. So you made the photo.
I made the photo.
You made a photo finish.
Right.
Right. Photo
Let's
finish.
see.
If
Who
you
else?
look at,
Well, there's a lot of them that didn't, right?
Right. Yeah. Al Gorinsky,
You
Yeah.
left that same.
Mike Murphy.
Okay.
I
if you
think
look
Zippy.
at Tom
Zippy too.
Zipikowski,
Yeah, Tom.
did you notice underneath it, does that say process by?
Let's see.
It's
This
very
one.
hard to read.
Let me try and blow this up here a bit.
Yeah, under Zibikowski or something. I can't.
Oh yeah, I see what you're talking about. Here, I'll increase.
Well, that's
this.
Eastman Studio. It says, or is that Eastman or?
Yeah, it says photo. Well, I'll try more. Eastman Studios. Now, I think they probably meant the class of
Bolton.
65 because
You
it
know, I
was
think this,
That's
I think
Boltman's
this is
studio.
actually a second edition. I think the
Bill's
first
right.
edition only had our class. In
Yeah.
the second edition, they added.
Under Zibby, it says Boltman Studio, where we
Is
got
it
our.
Boltman?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. That's what it is. Boltman Studios. I
Oh,
can see it
Boltman?
now.
Okay,
Yeah.
There.
yeah, thanks. But
That's where we got
yeah,
ours taken.
that's what they did. They reduced the, actually, Frank, you're better looking in that one. When they blow it up.
No, my big ear stood out and my prominent nose was there.
No, but I think that's a nicer picture in a way because it's bigger. You can kind of see the people.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
You know, one thing I do remember about, I remember seeing the black and white of just our picture. But the thing I recall is they did a couple of mess up jobs on the names or something like that,
Oh.
where they kind of whited out something where they made a mistake. And so that's why this actual picture was, I think it was reframing of everything, both classes. I was trying to see if it was pretty obvious that there was something that they kind of smudged up, but it doesn't show up here.
Who have we lost so far? Joe Radelet.
Joe, yeah, hang on, let me just.
Joe has
reduce it.
passed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember reading his obituary in the last couple of years.
Tom Cabildus,
Tom Cabildus
Yeah.
is gone.
Yeah, he was the first one to go.
right.
Did I
Beyond
hear
that,
that did I hear that Jim Hammond is passed?
Did he?
I haven't heard that he passed. I knew he was having a problem with prostate cancer.
Prostate cancer, yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't
and
he teaching? I thought you guys said he was teaching in West Virginia or somewhere, or Virginia.
Somewhere on the East Coast.
EMT.
Right.
and,
yeah, that's my memories too. I had sent him a little mail a few months ago, just checking in to see. And he said, yeah, he was doing okay. Hoped to be able to get back into checking in and stuff like that. So let's see, was there anybody else in there?
Is McKenna still in some kind of a institution with dementia or with, does anybody know? Mike McKenna? What's the medical status?
I have no idea.
No, I don't know. The last thing I heard about him was a report on WOD in Grand Rapids about him and somebody else who were laicized.
Yeah.
And where they were living. I think this reporter was trying to make a deal about how come the diocese was still paying retirement to several of the former priests. And they sort of sprung that on the bishop at some function, and that was about the end of that article, or that news report. So now there's one other picture that I want to send you or show you guys. I'm going to get out of here.
Well, thanks for showing that, Bill.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, me too. And it's been sitting here on my computer all these years. Now, hang on for 1 second. Now, I'm going to go in here and show you another picture that this was sent over by Joe Fodor, Fodor. And he was I believe he was in the class of 78. And in 1976, the St. Joe's Seminary basketball team got the Class D championship.
For the whole state?
For the whole state.
Wow.
And so he had, I wanted to find out from him where this article appeared, because it doesn't quite look like it was the recorder. It might have been he picked it up off of the state athletic or high school athletic association newsletter or something like that. But there's the class from 1976. And if you look, I'll get the
name to the team.
Yeah, there they are.
Now, there was a Tom Fodor. I think he was from St. Francis. Now, Joe Fodor, I wonder if there's a relation there.
Holy
He's a
name.
holy name. Boy, they came from all over, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well,
We did.
seminarians.
I mean, that's quite a, I know that, what is that, Class D?
Yeah.
Louis Klingman, I know Louis Klingman. Knowing him when I was going to school. His dad was a professor at Aquinas College.
Yeah.
And they lived literally right across from St. Thomas, and they were always late for Mass. Oh, and then Tom Whitland. Okay, Whitland, my brother knew. He was a very good player.
Where are you getting these?
And I believe Tom Page was ordained. I think he's.
Well, it says here that they were in St. John's.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were in the seminary, we weren't allowed to play other schools, were we? We didn't have.
We were barely allowed to play the other classes in our.
Yeah, we only played intramural, I think.
Yeah, that's true. But it says here, with a total of 29 students in the entire 4 years,
wow.
Rogues suited up 11 men, had 6 others as cheerleaders, and left 12 boys for the cheering section.
Yeah, when you stop and think about it, let's go back up to the top up here. There's the rest of the school.
They should have been on the team too. They didn't have enough.
This was 4 years of high school, correct?
Right,
Yeah.
right. This is the reserve squad at the top.
Can
Oh,
you
Lord.
send that one, Bill, if you ever get a chance?
Yeah, I was going to put it out in the next update.
Oh, okay.
And I was sent a note. I didn't think of this at the time, but I sent a note to Joe saying it would be interesting if he were to join in a future Zoom session to kind of give us old guys some perspective on the changes that were taking place. Now, this was 10 years after we graduated.
Yeah.
And and it was getting close, I think, to the final days of the seminary before they, closed off the high school
Right.
thing. I remember reading in Norb's book that it was really, there was no forewarning among the students at the time that they were going to close, and they just gathered them all together and said, "We're closing."
Jeez.
And of course, probably people like the seminarians were the last to know anything about what was taking place.
Did they get into the transfer portals then? I mean, like.
But I do recall that he, somewhere in my photo archives, I have a picture of the class ring that was, or no, it was a medal that was given to each of the players that had the class D, a little bronze medal. Or
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
It probably was like on a ribbon and they put it over them.
Right. Like I said, I thought it would be kind of interesting to listen to the, what he and others have to share about, what was actually taking place at that time.
Yeah.
They had actually, looking through some of the yearbook, I think he sent me a 1976 yearbook that that would be kind of an interesting thing to kind of look up and spend some time looking through that. They had women on the staff. My gosh.
Well, they had nuns. We had nuns. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, nuns weren't women. You never saw anything but their faces. But, I kind of, it's interesting when somebody from one of the last classes in there sent a note to me through St. Joe's Memories saying he wasn't going to be coming to any reunion because the only ones who go there are the old guys, and they just talk about stuff that didn't relate to them. So anyway, that was my thinking, that maybe some point in the near future we could spend some time and see if we could resurrect some of those guys. Or like, we're 76. I see Albert just turned 77. So these were guys who were 10 years younger than us, which puts them up in the senior citizen class as well. They're 66, 67, right? Not that far behind us, but our life experiences were quite a bit different. So I thought that would be, anyway, that was my thinking. Now, what about getting together? Is there any interest on people's part of trying to do another thing, maybe over at Bill Gebhard's spacious?
Sure.
We'll just come, and whoever shows up is there. I don't know. I'm just.
Oh, I would gladly host something.
Oh,
Well, pick
okay.
a date. Pick a date, Bill. Let us know.
Yeah, it takes a good, at least 60 days to get a turnaround on. Well, I could do it in 30 days. So if we did something in the mid to end July, that would give me time to put together another issue of the update and
Well, I'll figure out something in either July or August, and I'll get it out to you.
Right,
Yeah.
My
right.
preference would be mid-August. I probably can't come to a July meeting. I'm usually at my summer home in Wisconsin for all of July, but
Well, heck,
Come on, I'll
that
just
sounds
forward
like an
to you.
invitation to me. We'll just go over to Frank's place.
well, that too. But it's a long trip from Chicago to get to my other place in northern Wisconsin. It's a 6.5
We'll
hour
go up
drive.
to Muskegon and we'll catch one of those shuttles across the lake.
That's a possibility. There's also a ferry from Ludington to I can't remember the name of the Wisconsin city, but I've taken it.
Appleton.
The Badger is the name of the
Badger, right.
Yeah. Right.
I did that one time.
ferry line.
Does that go to Manitowoc or?
Yes, it goes to Manitowoc. It does. From near Ludington or Ludington.
Yeah. From Ludington.
For Bill, if you were to have it there, would it be simple just to have like pizza or something like that, and you have, something cold to drink? So he doesn't have the logistics of all that stuff.
No, I'll come up with something a little better than pizza.
How about grease bags?
Yeah, we can do
That
those
would
on
be
the
a
grill.
riot.
I'll see what I can find.
How about those tuna hot dogs? Those were really good.
There will be no tuna hot dogs, I can promise you.
I still remember that episode where the nuns didn't tell Monsignor Moran that that's what they were, and he went racing back in when he saw the hot dogs on a Friday. He had to assure us that they were in fact not meat.
They were awful.
Sad substitute.
Not only were they not meat, they were not meant for human consumption.
Non-edible. Non-edible.
You know, I don't
They had to have been a
don't
little bit
recall
better
that
than
at
puke
all.
on the platter.
puke on a platter. Yeah,
Wasn't
I've heard it referred to by another
You know, at that meal, they also served grapefruit, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
so
Yeah, Bill,
we'll wait to hear from you, Bill.
Okay.
And
Yep.
you know, most days of the week are pretty good for me.
Me too.
I can't think of any particular reason for me. My suggestion would be to offer a couple of examples, in case somebody has is definitely off the charts. And here comes Norb again. Let's see if he unmutes himself.
I got to see him first.
Bill, are you calling from Florida?
No, I'm in Michigan now.
Oh, you're in Michigan now? Okay.
What's that crocodile in the back there?
No, that's just the bass in the lake back there.
Ah,
That's an import. Looks like Norb is muted and not non-visual.
But if you can hear us, we see your name.
He's participating because they have 7 participants.
Yep. He's listening. Don't say anything you don't want him to hear.
Norb is there. Okay. I hear him. I heard him. His microphone has a red
Yep,
thing on it.
muted.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Maybe he doesn't realize he's.
I think you're right.
Yeah, he doesn't know he's on the air.
You know, part of it is, remember, he has eyesight too.
All right. As far as Bill Gebhard goes, if the sooner he tells us a date, I can find out if I've got a doctor's appointment or not that day.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'll try to throw out 3 or 4 dates and
Yeah.
see what works.
Yeah, for me, most of August would be preferred, like August 5th through the 25th or something. But
Sounds good.
July, I'm usually not in town here. And
Okay, but-
I'm really in favor of coming together again. I'm getting worried about some of us not being around 2 or 3 years from now. I came down with a new ailment. I now have a cardiologist.
Oh no!
Yeah, I have something called tachycardia.
Ooh,
No problem.
Yeah, I know. Like medication seems to be controlling it, but my heart starts racing for sometimes unexplained reasons.
Mhm.
And it turns out all my siblings have high blood pressure. 3 of them have had heart attacks. And I now have a cardiologist who's I'm seeing August 10th. So that would be one day that I probably couldn't come.
it's interesting. I'm the only one of the males in my paternal side of the family that hasn't had heart problems. And, my dad died young at age 54 from heart attack. And
Wow, that is young.
my older brother died at 55 heart attack. My younger brother had a massive, I forget exactly what it was, but they were doing a stress test on him and he keeled over. And the next thing he said, he remembered he was waking up and they had put a stent in him. And let me see. Oh, my dad's brother, my paternal uncle, he also had some heart issues, although he lived to be 95 or something like that. But when you stop and think about it, the males in my family haven't
done well.
Hey, Bill, do you know whether any of those guys had problems with diabetes?
I don't think any of them did. Not in none of them. But I always thought that's kind of ironic that here I am. I fall into that at-risk category, but it's all this clean.
You may have very different genes from what those guys had. That yours may be, your mom's genes may have overridden what.
Albert, did your hearing come back, Albert?
No, not at all.
Not fully? No.
No, not. It didn't come back at all.
Since you had that accident with your car hit a deer?
It has not come back at all. Can you hear me, or do you need hearing aids?
No, I do need a hearing aid, I think, but I hear you.
No, it has not come back one bit.
Wow.
The only time they thought it did, the test was an error. It went back to the square one from the first test.
So are you using a hearing aid now? Are you now?
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be answering your questions.
I was just going to say, that's the obvious.
No, I can hear some, but not very well at all. About 40% on the left ear, which was closest to the side or upper airbag, and probably 60% or 70 on the right side. So I'm not deaf, but I need hearing aids. In fact, the left ear is so bad that I had to get special hearing aids that the left side talks to the right side. The receiver's on the right side, because a normal hearing aid on the left side would do me no good.
Wow.
So I can't go to Costco because they don't have those special hearing aids. I have to go to a special place. But luckily my insurance is good enough that it only cost me a couple thousand.
Well, Bill, in looking at my calendar,
Deer ran by you, Bill.
oh yeah, the long-legged rats. They're here all the time. There are
I was just amazed.
5 or 6 of them live back here. They just
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Does Wednesdays work? I'm looking at the 9th, the 16th, and the 23rd. Any of those would work for me.
Actually, they would all work for me too.
This is August.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 16th might be probably a little bit better than the 9th, but I can manage the 9th.
What was the third date, please?
The 23rd.
23rd.
Thank you.
And this is Battle Creek we're talking about, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. How much further is that from Kalamazoo? About 35, 40 miles?
No, it's about 25 miles.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah, that's why, Frank, it's strategic, because if there are people coming from Detroit,
Right.
Yeah.
it's about an hour and a half. It's a little closer, and it's not too far from Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo is almost you know,
Right.
A short
Central
drive,
Point.
yeah.
And if you're coming up a little bit on 94, so.
Yeah.
Frank, for you, it's 3 hours.
Yeah, I know. Because I've driven a lot to Kalamazoo. When I first moved to Chicago, my family had a reunion in Little Portage Lake or something just outside of
Yeah.
Kalamazoo every summer. And so my whole family from Chicago, we drove back and forth one day, same day.
Yep.
And the last
Well,
time I was in
I-
Kalamazoo, I stopped at Albert's place in
Yeah.
Yep. We still got a bedroom for you.
Mhm. That's nice.
I'll consider that. I've got a sister. I still only have one sister living is still in Michigan, and that's in Muskegon.
Oh, really? I thought, yeah, I kind of remember you mentioned that before.
And then I have an uncle who's 90. I talk to him on the phone about it every other month. He's 94, gave up his car. He lives in near Caledonia, just south of Detroit, of Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
On
You know, the amazing thing is that of all of us here, there's no one that's really coming from Grand Rapids, and that's where the diocese was.
right.
Raised.
Well, I
Pete's coming the closest. Pete is just south of Grand Rapids.
Right, he was in Byron Center, but I mean, but this is kind of surprising to me.
Maybe we can get Dick Host coming in too.
Yeah, did Dick come to our Kalamazoo gathering?
No, he did not.
He did not. Okay.
He didn't come to the one at my house either. He said he was coming, and then at the last minute he said no.
Well, Bill, would you maybe give me the address and what the lake is called, or how, some of us will rely on Google Maps or something to find our ways there.
I'm basically 2 miles off of I-94.
Okay, that's close.
Or south, east, or west. Yep.
Just north of that. Yeah, I'll send you my address and the particulars.
All right. We'll hunt you down.
Thank you, Bill.
Yes, that's really great. And now we know he's not going to be at his own place on that date. Whatever date we pick, he will be out of town, and we'll have
The deer will be there. The
Yeah.
deer will be there, and we'll have to hunt them down.
Yeah. Yeah, deer and geese. I can supply plenty of each.
Oh yeah. If you got a pond or a lake, the geese will be there.
Yes, they will.
Did I ever tell you the story? Any of you guys the story of how my uncle he was a teacher in the Kalamazoo area, Uncle Tony Marfia, and he had over the summer he had swimming classes every day,
Oh yeah.
and he had a big goose problem, so he solved it by basically shooting a goose every March or April. He shot one, he paid the fine, he knew it was wrong, but the geese kept off of his lakefront property the whole summer.
Huh.
They understood that this is a guy not to.
It works.
It worked, but he was willing to pay the fine. He got fined every year by the DNR or whoever fines.
Yep. Somehow they're a protected species. I have no idea why.
that. I just saw in the paper around here about this family that killed a swan
Oh,
and
not good.
and ate it on top of everything else. But I guess neighbors or somebody found out what was going on, so they managed to rescue the cygnets and got them into some kind of a situation. But the interesting thing was the article also talked about that type of swan is considered an invasive species. And it's not one of your friendly kind of floating by.
Swans are not friendly, period.
Yeah, I
Right.
know.
But some are more than others. Not.
All right, well, guys,
I think that's it.
now let's see if we have a gathering at Bill's place in mid-August. Do we want to have a meeting before or after a Zoom thing, or we just kind of put it out there and see what happens? Any thoughts about our?
Well,
It seems like our
depends
numbers
on-
are shrinking a bit, aren't they, on these calls?
Yeah.
still?
It seems like it.
I think that what you might want to do is kind of get things solidified with Bill Gebhard.
Yep.
And then, the whole organizational thing, and maybe call a meeting just to maybe fire some people up in the summer and see what happens.
Yep.
I mean, that's quite a hiatus of 2.5 months. And maybe show that you're kind of serious. I don't know. That's a suggestion. In other words, make a decision if you want to have one, but hold it kind of close to when we're going to Bill's place, just to see if you could drum up interest. Because it's
Well,
summertime anyways. I don't know.
That normal first Monday of the month would be before
Yeah,
we get the.
August,
anyway.
would be August 7th.
yeah. I don't think it would hurt.
Agree.
We might be able to generate more interest. I don't know.
Well,
Plus
that's
the way you
that's the only
worded-
thing is, Bill, just
Yeah.
so
Plus the way Bill would word it in the St. Joe Memories notes that he gives would be able to do that. Bill, you know what to
well,
say.
that's true too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely put out at least one issue of that. Now, as far as just like the record keeping, do we want to ask them to respond directly to you, Bill, or what's anybody's
I-
thought?
Bill, I think that you've been the point of contact for so much of this that if you put it out and say, have them get back to you, and you'll just be able to, if that's not too much of an imposition on you.
Oh, no,
track of
not
that.
at all.
Keep score.
And I'll tell you what, I like this idea of getting in touch with Joe Fodor and just to see if he would be willing to be part of maybe that would be the August 7th to kind of spur some interest in maybe some of the people who are from that era and can shed a little light on what life was like after us old fogies
Yeah.
left.
Get some new blood involved, right?
Right.
Well,
We're looking for somebody to take over.
Pardon?
Paul's got an insight there. Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said.
Tell them we're looking for somebody to take over.
Oh, yeah.
That you
Yeah,
want to
before
retire. you
before we're
let
dead
them-
and gone.
you
Before
let
we're
them
dead
run
and
it.
gone.
Right.
Then you
Right.
can listen to the crickets.
But that does remind me, I keep forgetting I wrote down the actual steps to and the account information about the website and the MailChimp information that I want to have. I'll at least pass it on to Angela so that somebody has some information about how some of this stuff could be accessed, whether or not anybody wants to actually take it over or not. But I always have this dread that somehow something will happen, and then kind of like Father Denny, he held the keys to so much of the history, and now there's no way that we have of accessing that kind
Yeah.
of stuff except going back in person and visiting his hordes of boxes. And
Where are those boxes? At the
at the diocesan center. Yeah.
Okay.
Archives. So.
I wanted to add one other thing. I ran into Monsignor Ancona about a month ago up in Grand Rapids.
Ah,
And he's still he's moving around with a cane, but he's still getting out. It was good to see him. I don't think he necessarily remembered me, but it was, he said he did, and I'll take him at his word.
It's interesting with the update that I send out. I have on that mailing list about 170 names of people who have had some contact with us over a lot of them came from Norb as a result of his emails about the last time that we had that get together. And so some of them are the kind of the old timers. And then we started assembling, some of the more recent alumni, recent being us. But it's interesting. One of the interesting things that I get as a result of the as soon as I send it out, I get a message back about, first of all, whether it was anybody unsubscribed, and then it also gives me information of whether or not the email was opened. So some of the people like Monsignor Ancona, he looks at them, and the fact that some of these people look at them more than one time indicates that they are finding something in there that they wanted to look at. So he's one of them that usually, I notice that he'll look at something twice. Terry Stewart, the same thing. He kind of looks at them on a regular basis. People like, I get notices that Neil Mullally will look at them. Tom Budzinski, Tom Zbikowski, some of the people that haven't participated.
We see you now, Norb.
You're back.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can
I
see
found out
you.
what was wrong.
Oh,
I had to click on the OK button that the meeting is recorded.
oh. Well, the good thing is these meetings are recorded, and it takes me a day or so to get them all served up. And so I always send them out first to everybody who was at the meeting, and then I send them out to everybody
Audio settings.
put them on the website and in the updates that I send out. So you may have thought you were gone, but you're not. We dragged you back in. But the time that you we missed you, everything up to the time you signed off to the time that you just came back in, that part, there was nothing recorded of you. We kind of figured that because all we saw was your name, and we didn't see your photo in there, your picture, that you had somehow didn't completely sign out of the whole thing. So anyway, I think probably one of the things you'll be interested in, we're going to have a sort of a picnic get together at Bill Gebhard's place, probably middle of August 16th. He lives in, I've already forgot, Kalamazoo.
Battle Creek.
Battle Creek.
Okay. Battle Creek. I'll write that down and I'll forget it.
Alzheimer's.
Right. So if you run into guys, I will send out another update with the information. And so if you happen to be in contact with any of your classmates or the real old timers, spread the word, and we'll see who makes it to Bill's place.
Face.
Have you decided on food or anything?
You don't have to worry about food. I take care of you. You'll be fine. You've got plenty of food.
He's got Tony Marfia helping him too.
Is there
And
a
he's gonna.
cost? Is it-
Can we bring booze or drinks?
We can try to drink me out of house and home, but if you want to bring some extra, sure.
Okay.
But I'm thinking, you know, I'll do up some ribs and some other kinds of stuff that would go with that, and just
And Norb, he says he's got a lot of geese and deer that are right around there. So we got venison, we got geese,
Yeah. roast goose.
roast goose. That would be, you know, I've never been able to figure out it's the British that, do they still eat geese? Oh,
Yeah.
somehow a Christmas goose just doesn't do it for me.
Is this for wives also?
Oh,
I
Are
think
wives
so.
invited?
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Do you guys feel good with that?
I
Oh,
think it's
yeah.
fine, and
Yeah, let's make
probably
it a-
help some people that, you know, just need to drive and they need to help.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
That's the case with me. Between the two of us, we're able to get around, but 90 miles at a stretch is about the extent of it. And then we switch off, and it's not like the old days when it was a 6-hour drive from Muskegon down to Detroit. And we managed
6 hours. What did you do? Go around
Well,
Lansing
it
3
was-
times? Or?
It was Michigan Avenue and Grand River were the only
Oh, I see. It wasn't.
in
96.
we came down to a Tigers game that was, we left Muskegon at 6 in the morning and got down to Tiger Stadium just in time for the game.
Yep.
And then you bundled into the cars and head back to Muskegon. We get back to Muskegon around midnight.
Yep.
That was that was the way it was.
I
Well, that
hope
was-
the Tigers won.
You're talking about before the interstate.
Oh yeah.
Were there
Oh, yeah.
any 4-lane highways between Muskegon
No,
and Detroit?
no. That
I
was
didn't
all
think-
2-lane.
I mean,
Was it-
131, but you probably wouldn't even take that.
No.
131 was 2-lane.
Wasn't 4-lane at that
131
point
was
either.
2-lane back then?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I mean,
Get
south of
south-
Grand Rapids.
You get south of Kalamazoo, 131 is still 2-lane.
True, right. Okay, wow. How old are you?
Almost as old as you are, Norb.
I know.
We're all in our
Late
closing in
70s.
the upper 70s.
Yeah, the last
Norb,
half
you
of
must
the
be-
70s.
Yeah.
I'll be 82 on Friday.
Ah.
Yeah.
You'll always be ahead of us, Norb.
Yeah, right. I know.
Tigers
Oh,
are
hey.
losing 5-0.
Hey,
Yeah.
Norb, while we got you, you would have been possibly part of this whole thing. We were talking about Dick Galant. Remember seeing a picture, it might have been in the Western Michigan Catholic, but we know it's not in the Grand Rapids Press, a picture of JFK.
Okay,
Driving?
I was here when you were talking about that.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah, I was still
okay.
on. So
Yeah,
no, I know nothing about it.
you know nothing about nothing.
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Sergeant Schultz is the only one that knows nothing.
I know nothing.
All right.
Yeah, but he did know and didn't tell you.
Right. So, well, okay, guys, we're going to have a Zoom of some sort on August 7th. We'll touch bases then to see how many people are going to be coming to the get together at Bill Gebhard's place on the 16th.
Yep.
All righty.
okay, good.
It's
Thanks
always
a
good
lot.
talking.
Have a good
All right.
summer, everybody. We'll
Thanks.
see you then.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care,
Take
guys.
care, everyone.
Take care.
Bye.
Good
Bye,
night.
Frank. Bye, Frank.
Bye.